Dylan and Joanne fight to stay in the game. Now on Big Brother Cheesecake 5 All-Stars. Hello, I'm Andrew Shevsik Moonves. Welcome to Big Brother Cheesecake 5 All-Stars. It's day 29 inside the Big Brother Cheesecake house, and this week Jonathan is the head of household. He nominated Dylan and Chanel for eviction, but Chanel won the Golden Power Veto in the Big Brother Scrabble Golden Power Veto competition, chose to use it to save herself, and Jonathan named Joanne as the replacement nominee, which means tomorrow either Dylan or Joanne will be evicted and will join Charlene in Redemple Temple, where one will stay and one will go. Who will it be? You'll find out tomorrow. And what will their pleas be? We'll find out shortly. But first, some quick announcements. So it was definitely a busy, hectic, chaotic day inside the Big Brother Cheesecake house. As I'm sure if you are in the Big Brother Cheesecake Facebook page, I'm sure you already saw Dylan's public post. But we're going to get to that shortly. First, a couple things that I forgot to mention. I was going to talk about this earlier this week, but curses. So there are some curses in Big Brother lore. One that's been broken is the person who I masturbate to, for lack of a better word, well, pleasure myself to, on premiere night has never won the season. That's for Cheesecake, Canada, US, Over the Top, All-Stars, Celebrity, not All-Stars, Celebrity. But that was broken by Cody in Big Brother 22. So what happened was I was going to do Kaser. And Kat calls me and she begs me. She's like, Andrew, please. No, Andrew, please. Pick someone else. So I picked Cody. And of course, against my better judgment, and Cody won the season. So that curse is broken. I mean, Kaser, even if you take away the fact that Kaser has a perfect personality and Cody is essentially a mega douchebag, even looks alone, I think Kaser still wins. I like that he has some meat on his body. I mean, who wants to cuddle with Cody when he doesn't give you any warmth? Because he's like a shell of a man with basically a skeleton bod. But anyway. Yeah, so that curse has been broken. The other curse is that the person who comes last in the theme song in Big Brother Canada, US, Over the Top, Celebrity, Cheesecake, also Byron in that one season I saw, for the record, shout out to Nick. The person who comes last in the theme song has never won. This season, Rai Rai was last in the theme song, and once again, that curse killed him. So, well, I think a lot killed Rai Rai this season, but that curse definitely helped. Yeah. The other curse in Big Brother Cheesecake is that the first 4 head of households have never won the season. Jeffrey was head of household week 5. Chanel, I believe, was 6. Chantal was 10. And Brazil, I believe, was 8 when they were head of household for the first time. So we have this season, we have Curtis, Chanel, Chantal, and Jonathan. So you 4 are cursed. Can you break that curse? Time will tell. Yeah. And also, this is not really a curse, but a transit operator has never won Big Brother Cheesecake. There were only 3 this season. Charlene is currently on Redemple Temple, and we have Rhonda and Chad, who are still in the game. Yeah. Next. Okay, so the Christmas bonus. So at the Christmas Day episode, which was day 25, at the end of the theme song, there was a rolling thing at the bottom that said, if you can identify this song in English, you get 20 All-Star dollars. The song was Jingle Bells. My dad loves that Spanish version of Jingle Bells. That's why I played it. And the first person to identify that was Brazil. So Brazil got 20 All-Star dollars. In terms of the lock, Dylan finally made a guess for the lock. His guess was wrong. So Charlene automatically gets another 20 All-Star dollars. So she's up to 60 by doing virtually nothing. The correct combination, which was the order of the season chats from most active to least active, was 2, 1, 1-3-4. Nicole had 2-1-4-3. She was so close. Kat had it backwards. She said 4-3-1-2. Kat, you really think your season is the most active? I mean, Lindsay messages me every day and says, did they kick me out of the season 4 chat? I'm like, no, they're just not doing anything. So, yeah. So that's that with the lock. Okay. So a lot happened yesterday. I'll start off with some Chad and Charlene because everybody loves that. And then we'll get to the pleas for Joanne and Dylan. Okay. So after I post the video, Chad says, Andrew, your for Joanne gets me every time. For the rest of you fuckers, suck my ass. Can't get me out this week. And then literally, like 20 seconds later, I would like to apologize again, everyone. I do not wish for any of you to suck my ass. Please forgive. I see the real Chad is back. Charlene, I apologize. Please forgive. I forgave you for your mistakes. We must be able to forgive people for their mistakes or people will never change. Charlene, I hope you make it back into the house. It's much better with you in it. Oh, you are a funny boy. All your positivity just rubs off on everyone. Remember how much I know about your family? I still can't believe we are pretty much related. 2 peas in a pod. And so Chad starts his bull again. You haven't changed a bit. We are related, Charlene. Only as co-workers, Chad. I know you would like to be related, so keep dreaming. My great-great-grand aunt? Oh, dear. Okay, so, Joanne. Dylan, your house guests yesterday cast their votes to evict, but you were asked to provide the jury or provide the house guests voting, your fellow house guests, with one brief statement as to why you should stay in the game. This was interesting. They had a very different approach. Joanne, you're up first. I'm Joanne. Look at my swagger. I need a vacation right now. I'm pretty sure everyone is feeling the same. Mike and I would have already been to Jamaica and Mexico by now, and last night we pretended to be lying on a beach. I even made us frozen drinks. Didn't have all the fixings, but it cheered us up. Where would you go for vacation if you were leaving tomorrow, and with who? By the way, my blender is broken, so I have to go to Walmart to buy a new one. I didn't realize that you had to actually, close the top part. It just exploded everywhere. Chad, you're using abusive language. I wouldn't mind going to a cottage up north. I like cottage cheese too. I like to go sledding and ice fishing and snowmobiling and going skinny dipping in a frozen lake and having sex at the bottom. Here's some more things I like to do. I don't drink, believe it or not, even though I just made Mike and I a frozen drink. I like to go in a cabin and having some moose chili. And hanging out in the snow all day. You're so yummy. I like to eat fresh fish from ice fishing. Then I like to toke, have some coke, snort some coke, and what a blast. One thing Mike has taught me in planning is great, but flying by the seat of your panties is heart-pumping fun, like jumping in a lake with clothes on and doing stupid dares and getting everyone around you involved. One time, I took my bra off on the bus, and Andrew was like, you have to put your top on. I can't drive with that. And I said, Andrew, if I was Jim Markovic, would you let him ride the bus naked? And Andrew said, of course. And I said, you're a sexist pig. Oh, now let's talk about casinos. You should see me at a casino around here. I always go with the group. You can't. This is real. I didn't write this. I always go with the group, so my meal is free and super yummy. Then I steal a 20 from my girlfriend's purse, and they all laugh at me because I get to play for 7 hours on winning and losing, and but I'm always entertained, and I leave knowing I only spent $30, $10 for the bus ride, and $20 for my girlfriend's purse. My friends never have that kind of luck. They waste their donation in the first hour and dip in for more. I love watching people have a blast watching and imagining what they do for a living or where they're from if they're married. Then at the casino, I like to watch Celine Dion because she's just like me. We're exactly the same person. Okay. Thank you, Joanne, for that. Dylan, you're up next. Oh, so first Dylan starts by saying, House guest, my plea to stay is I've been unapologetic and unafraid to make my prices known in the game. I've heard from multiple people this week. Jonathan has basically threatened people that if they try to save me, they'll be going home next. Is that someone you really want to keep in the game? I am clearly a target in this game. One by one, the targets have been going home. Who's next if I leave? Jonathan does not have all the power here. Do something to benefit your game. There are people here who know I benefit them who are choosing to let me go this week, and that's very disappointing. So then, Dylan decides to go on Facebook Live in the Big Brother Cheesecake Facebook page. It is 14 minutes long, so I'm definitely not going to play it here in the episode. But if you haven't had the chance, it is exquisite in terms of drama. He calls out multiple people in no particular order. Chantel, Brazil, Nicole. It's all the background people. No, I'm just kidding. Jojo. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. And Curtis, I believe, at one point. And Jonathan. He has a long piece on Jonathan. So I don't agree with everything that he said, but I'll start with where I sympathize with him and where I agree. So this is my... Well, I have played in 7 orgs. And when I say org, I put org, LRG, and minis together in one. I know it's not, but... So I know what it's like to be at the bottom. I know what it's like to be blindsided and not see it coming. I also know what it's like to cry for 48 hours over being voted out of an org. I also know what it's like to fall in love and have my heart smashed into a million pieces on an org with everybody watching. So believe me, Dylan, I've been there. For instance, in your Halloween mini, I was voted out unanimously. Even Chanel didn't vote for me. So, like, I know what you're going through. And then I also know what it's like to make final tribal council and get 0 votes to win. But yeah, so I get it. You're upset. You have every right to be upset, because the game sometimes goes your way, sometimes doesn't go your way. And I do think that some people led you to believe that they were more with you than they were. Not going to name any names, but I definitely think that I could see why. And Dylan's DRs too, he felt really, really safe. And I remember reading them going, like he was very confident in himself. Pretty much up until yesterday, Dylan was very confident in his game. And I was like, I don't know. Now, where I don't agree with Dylan, first of all, regarding reality realness, only Jonathan, Chantel, and JoJo have covered Cheesecake. What Brazil and Chantel cover in their own time, Love Island and what's the other show? The Bachelorette, which, by the way, surprised, she picked Zach. Very surprised. I agree Ben made mistakes, but I'm still surprised Zach won. But anyway, I feel like Brendan needs to get over his shit. But anyway, because that's who I think she would have been best with. But anyway. Or Ivan, but okay, whatever. So whatever Chantel and Brazil do outside of Cheesecake on Reality Realness, like, that's not my fault. Also, let's say hypothetically, that the Reality Realness people, which you listed 5 people, were working together prior to the start of the season. That's still 5 of 16. I had 8 operators come in Season 3 together. And 9 operators together in Season 1. So even if there was a lot of pre-gaming, which, to be honest, you compared it to Big Brother 22, I definitely don't think there was as much pre-gaming in this season as there was in Big Brother 22. And I also think that people in Season 1 and 2 also pre-game to a certain extent. But I mean, that's like the nature of it. And I don't think we're headed on the path of Big Brother 22 where it's going to become boring and every single week is going to be predictable. I really don't. And in fact, this next head of household is sure to shake shit up. Um, but yeah, also where I disagree with you, you did, and you brought it up in the video, so don't look at me. And I want to start by saying I love you and I always will. So don't take this as like me being offended or upset because I'm not. The You mentioned the $25 and you said in the video, I don't have $25 because I'm in college. That's fine. If you came to me prior to the start of the season and said, I don't have $25, I would have let you play for free because that's just the kind of person I am. And that's the kind of person I think a lot of Canadians are, because you kind of put Canadians down at one point. And like I have people come on the bus every single day. I have no money. I have no money. And the policy is to let them ride. A-Town's like, what? But yeah, we're not supposed to enforce the fare at all. So if you just said, I don't have $25, I would have let you play. Instead, when I asked you, are you willing and able to pay the $25 US, you twice gave me a thumbs up on that message, which is basically a sign of affirmation, and then I never heard back. On the episode twice, I said, because at one point 3 people didn't pay. Ryan hadn't paid. He did pay just before he was evicted. Jeffrey paid, I think, a day or 2 before he was evicted. Now I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I said in the episodes, I don't care whether I get the money today or not. I just want some sign, some words of affirmation that you are going to pay, whether it be in the next week, the next month, or the next year. Tiffany has owed me $5,000 since 2014. $5,000. She paid it all back this year because we had a dialogue. She said, this is my situation with my jobs and with my finances, blah, 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 blah. I'm saving up. This is how much I've saved up, and you will get it at this amount of time. And I got it this year. She paid back the full $5,000. So it's not the fact that you didn't pay. It's the fact that you led me to believe that you were going to pay by thumbs-upping those, are you going to pay? And then just not saying anything until this video. And so I don't know if you ever would have paid. Who knows? Now, 2 people in the house offered to pay for you. And I said no to both of them because 1, it's not their burden. And 2, let's not forget that in season 2, Cheryl paid for you in that season, Dylan. And what did you do the following week? You evicted her ass. So on your HOH. So that also, I didn't want somebody to pay twice and then get fucked and say, I just paid for myself and Dylan and I got evicted the next week. Like, that sucks. So I didn't want to put that on anybody. And to be totally honest, I was 50-50 between you and Dan for who should be the last person from season 2. I do think in terms of the game, I made the right choice with you because you definitely brought the drama, no question. Oh, and you said that you're not an inactive player. Dylan, when I posted the combination thing to the locks, I had everybody respond within an hour and it took you 24 hours. So I'm not saying you're inactive, but you're definitely the least active player this season. I mean, like, sorry to say. And then you said, I can't socialize with these people because they're boring. Well, I mean, that you can't put on me if you find them boring. And I've played in 7 orgs, and no matter how much I don't connect with people, Kyle didn't connect with at all. We ended up talking about Dunkin' Donuts the whole 47 days. I'm trying to think who else I just did not connect with. I connected with everybody there. Actually, I connected with pretty much everyone. On Padlock, there were a lot of young people I didn't connect with that I found it difficult to talk to. So, but like that's just the beauty of the game. It's a social experiment. So that I can't help you with. But getting back to the money. So 2 people offered to pay and I said no. And I ended up picking Dylan. And I did at the back of my mind pick Dylan knowing that he might not pay. But what happened with Dan was Debbie from season 1 and Dan from season 2 are best friends. And when I asked Debbie to play, she said no, because kids, family, Christmas coming, blah, blah, blah. Hi, Debbie, if you're watching. When I asked Dan to play, he asked me, is Debbie playing? And is Debbie playing? And I said no. And he's like, So he's like, well, I'll do it if you need me. Well, this is All Stars. I don't want you to do it because you need me. And you, Dylan, did say, I can't wait to play for All Stars. I remember that. So you did want to play. So I am happy from a game perspective that I chose you. Going back to the money, Marcin, Nick, and Lindsay bought me that camera, which I ended up not liking. It cost a total of $37 and change. I asked Marcin, do you want it back so you can get the money back? And he said, no, keep it as a gift, or get something for yourself from Amazon. Merry Christmas. So that gift that was worth $37 from Nick, Lindsay, and Marcin is what's essentially going to make me break even. So I break even, but the three of them paid for your entry fees. So what I ask of you, Dylan, hopefully you're watching, hopefully you're not inactive and you're watching the daily videos, what I ask from you is that you please go on Reality Realness and talk to Lindsay and Nick, because it's the least you can do considering they paid for you to play. I'm the middleman. It worked out for me. Okay. But your Facebook Live video was very entertaining. Even if not all of it I agree with, and I'm sure there's people in the house. Jojo did say something after. Let me read it quickly. So yes, it was very entertaining. And if you're watching this, Becky, hi Becky, and you haven't seen it, trust me, it's worth a watch, because he just basically tells everybody off. Jojo says, Dylan, I'm not gonna speak on another else's behalf, but I don't think encouraging you to play All-Stars automatically made you and I aligned. We have spoken no game. I would have loved to get to know you better, but you didn't campaign to me week 1 or this week while on the block at all. Okay, now it's time to get to the next head of household competition. Free from the threat of eviction, the head of household wins the perks of his or her private HOH bedroom bathroom, a fruit basket with Arby's, and a letter from home, courtesy of someone, and the responsibility of nominating 2 of his or her fellow house guests for eviction. Jonathan is outgoing head of household. You're not eligible to compete this week, and that's probably going to be a good thing, because this competition could not have come at a better time. It always comes at a shit time. This season, I think it landed, because they're all predetermined prior to the start of the season, it landed on the perfect week. It is called Big Brother Virus. And here's how it works. Big Brother Virus is a classic competition that has been in every season of Big Brother Cheesecake. It was won by Debbie in Season 1. Dylan won it in Season 2. Nicole won it in Season 3. And Curtis won it in Season 4. So 3 people who have won this competition are playing in it. And it's very simple. There's a virus going around the Big Brother Cheesecake house. If you get the virus, you are eliminated, but you will infect the next person, who will infect the next person, and the last player left standing will become the new head of household. So essentially, this forces everyone to play the game a little and show their hand as to who they're working with and not based on their decisions, which is why I love this competition. Nobody can be background, except Jonathan, who luckily is not playing. Perfect time to sit out. However, every season I try and mix this competition up to make it more interesting. Last season I introduced the antidote, where you can infect somebody, but also give someone an antidote so that they can advance further in the competition. This season I'm doing something similar, but with a slightly different structure. This season, there will be a vaccine, courtesy of Charlene and the whole anti-vax conspiracy theories. So, here's how it works. The first person... Well, let me start by saying who is the first person. So every season I've had a different way of starting it. Season 1, Ren Mall won a preseason competition where he got to start the chain of infections. Season 2, the most recently evicted house guest, who was Charlene, got to start the infections. Season 3, there was an advantage in Yankee Swap, which was also won by Charlene. Wow. And she got to start the infections. Season 4 was the mole, Ashley, who got to start. Season 5, the most recent Redemple Temple duel winner gets to start the infections, which almost was Charlene for a 3rd time, but it was Kat. That is Kat's prize from Redemple Temple. Kat You have the vaccine, which means you are safe in round 1. This competition takes place in 3 rounds. So Kat has a vaccine, she is safe. She must now infect somebody with the Big Brother virus, and they are out of the competition. That person will then vaccinate somebody, i.e. sending them to round 2 with Kat. The person they vaccinate will then infect somebody, who will then vaccinate, who will then infect. So it goes back and forth. You're not doing both like last season where you would infect an antidote. After round 1, 6 people will be vaccinated, 6 people will be infected. The 6 infected are out. We then are down to the 6 vaccinated. We then go again. 3 will get a vaccine, 3 will be infected. Round 3 is just the final 3, then there's no more vaccine, and it's simply you infect, infect, infect. Whoever is the last house guest standing, not infected, will be the new head of household. So Kat, once this video airs, you will have, well, as soon as you can, please infect the first house guest. However, last thing I promise, just like in Season 4, the problem with this competition in Season 2 and 3, everybody hated each other, especially in 2. And it was a whole, oh yeah, fuck you, oh yeah, fuck you. And the competition was done in like 10 minutes. I like this competition to take place throughout the day. So after Kat goes and infects somebody, they must wait a minimum of 45 minutes to infect the next person. So we are going in 45-minute intervals. If we fall behind, then I will allow people to catch up. So once Kat makes her infection, I will post the time when that person can vaccinate the next person. Okay, long episode, but we had a lot to get to. So with that said, Dylan or Joanne, who will be evicted from the Big Brother Cheesecake 5 house and join Charlene in Redempel Temple, where one will stay and one will go in a duel hopefully for the record books, and who will become the new head of household in the Big Brother Virus head of household competition. That's all tomorrow. I'm Andrew Shevsik Moonves. Take care, and remember, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love somebody else? Good night.